What's up, guys? It's Des. Welcome to my pierogi appreciation channel and ASMR Polish cooking slash mukbang. I don't, these fake intros, man. I make them up on the spot and they're either hit or miss. Just because they've all been missed so far doesn't mean I'm not going to hit eventually. But speaking of hits, we got a whole bunch of spoilers from the weekend because I was working all weekend because everybody's working for the weekend. But first up, check out this spicy boy right here. It's a mythic. It was, well, to me from M19. It was actually from 10th edition, 5th Dawn, and a couple others. But Crucible of Worlds is this. Why am I Yoda all of a sudden? This is Crucible of Worlds, this alternate art. Now, I think this, is the alternate art semi-borderless or whatever, but this might be upwards of, 60 bucks. I mean, this is pretty spicy. The lowest cost one is M19, 40 bucks. Now, unfortunately, what this says is you may play land cards from your graveyard, and it's a 3-drop colorless artifact, which means all colors have access to just playing things basically on a loop from the graveyard. I mean, you're talking fetch lands, evolving wilds, play 'em, sack 'em, go. I mean, it's a landfall nightmare. You can get 3 triggers. In the formats that this is legal, and it's probably not that bad. Modern, it might be a little much, but I don't know. Landfall was very recently powered up. This, just the design of the card I don't like. I'm not saying, oh, it immediately needs to be banned and everything, but it just promotes massive degeneracy and just something you shouldn't be able to do on a recurring basis. So next up, whatever this says in German, but it's really Anger of the Gods. Really? German does the mirror upside down double quotes? Oh, those look awful. Don't they know they look like commas? Anyway, this card was a menace back in Theros. It was worth an enormous amount of money, but there have been more powerful versions of this printed ever since. It's a double red 3-cost hexery or whatever. Okay, it's a sorcery. Isn't German fun? I can make fun of my own people. It's just 3 damage to each creature, and if something dies, exile it. There are better sweepers than this, so it's only about 2 bucks. Next up, we've got, I don't know, Gave, I don't know, Guru of Spores. It's some weird, $2 to $4 card that was in Commander 2016, and it was already reprinted. It was in original Commander 2, and then it was in Commander Anthology, so, I don't know. It's not that good of a card either. It's nothing too special. Even in, a hardened scale counter dump thing, this isn't that good. Next up, Cataract Leviathan. This is another card that hasn't been printed really ever since Shards of Alara, so that was a while ago. But that version is still sitting at $3.50. I mean, there are better bouncy boys than this, I'm just saying. I think this was thrown in for draft and just because it hasn't been printed. Some people play Leviathan Tribal for fun, though, because you sure as heck aren't playing it to win. Next up, Anguished Unmaking, or as I like to call it, Schmerzfulti Aslo Shung. No wonder you guys lost the war. I could say you guys, okay? My ancestors got here in America in 1890 on some boat or something. This is one of the 10 trillion different, black-white removals, but this one is still 10 bucks. The Shadows over Innistrad version, because it says exile target non-land permanent, you lose 3 life. There's not much more universal than that, especially not in Modern. So still a pretty good money card. Next up, some more German silliness. It's, and it's a pig too, get it? Because they make pork sausages? I'm sure that was on purpose. Anyway, it's a Boar Tusk Liege. So this was only ever in Shadowmoor, and it was never reprinted. $8.50 right now. I could see it maybe maintaining that. I mean, it's a 3/4 4-cost hybrid Lord's card, so... Or Lord card, not plural. I always get that wrong. You never know. There are low-cost lieges and very high-cost lieges, and they put, I think at least 5 of them in this set. This is almost the most expensive one, though. Next up, Hardened Scales. This was a mistake when they put it in the game. This plus Hero of Lena Tower or anything like it, plus anything heroic. Ooh. So this artwork is already pre-ordering. It's actually live pre-orders now, unlike the fake price it's supposed to be for. But 15 bucks. Okay. Otherwise, the regular edition is 5, and previously, the Khans of Tarkir version was 8 bucks. And for one, it's just a solid card. I think in the formats it's in, it's just good. In Standard, it was too good. Next up, are we gonna see another cycle? It's Green Sun Zenith. Remember, there's more than one Zenith card, and some of them are pretty spicy. And if you're thinking the same thing I am, which is, was ist das für ein Scheiße? Now, there's no E at the end. You know what? That's the best take. Oh, well, it's staying in. The answer is a really powerful $30 card. So it's from the Vault 20, Mirrored into Siege and Eternal Masters. Did I say desieged? Besieged. You know, it's like when the siege gets up and leaves because of a labor dispute. They're desieged. Mirrodin, very socialist. Anyway, This is search your library for a green creature card with converted mana cost X or less, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library, shuffle Green Sun Zenith into its owner's library. An automatic tutor, I'd say free cast, but it's like a combination tutor free cast. So either the tutor is free or the casting is free, but you get like both. Pretty powerful. Very, very, very powerful. I think this is going to sink like a rock, but people play it. I don't think it'll drop below like $10, but 30 seems high. It just hasn't been printed enough, and that's why I'm glad it's in here. Next up, it's your boy, Jamocha Shake. Shout out to all my DQ fans out there. By the way, the ones in Wisconsin stay open year-round because we ain't no pansy-ass little bitches. We shovel snow, we sweat, and then we go get some tasty-ass ice cream, all right? That's how we do it here. Just like how we do it here is to say dragon and bag and milk. And if you guys don't like it or not, you can go eat a bag of dragon milk. Anyway, this card is awful, so, $24 card. The original DTK is $25. This alternate art they're wanting $35. Hello. And it's just, can't be countered, flying lifelink, and your opponent can't cast spells during your turn. That is a lot of suppression. I love playing around control, but this thing, they could kill it in combat, or they could blow it up on their own turn, and it costs 6. So I mean, it's not like game ending, but this thing was pretty annoying. Still a little more expensive than I thought. Next up, Dak's Duplicate. Spoiler alert, I think Dak died. Anyway, it was in Conspiracy 1. There's a conspiracy for you. $3 this version they're asking too, so whatever, I mean, Haste into Throne for 1 additional mana over what you could pay, that's not too bad. Next up, Path to Exile, the 1 cost instant speed white printed to death, but that's fine because a lot of people want it. $3 at the moment card that says exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put the card on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You putting me ahead 3 turns, you're going to pay for that. I don't care what you thought was so important that you had to destroy it. I don't care if it's modern, commander, legacy, vintage, stuff I don't even play. You giving me 1 extra land when 1/3 of my deck is lands, thus setting me ahead 3 turns, that's gonna come back around to bite ya, I guarantee it. I've never liked this card. Now if you target some little token that you got and you just run a landfall deck, hey, more power to you. Next up, Backdraft Hellkite. Nothing too interesting here. It's, I think, the lowest one we've seen so far because I'm only covering the rares and the mythics. It was in Legends, and even that's only $5.50. Ouch. This is about a 59 on down cent card. Yikes. Plus, it grants flashback. There is no redeeming qualities to this. I hate everything about this. Next up, we got some really strange artwork on this Chaos Warp. What's going on here? We already had an alternate art. It was in the Mystic Archive Strixhaven thing, and it looked amazing. This is like weird cartoonish and doesn't really fit the set or any aesthetic I've ever seen in the entire history of Magic the Gathering. I don't know what's going on here, but the other one looks amazing, the original. Hell, I'm going to throw it up. I mean, how much better does that look? That looks amazing. Well, it's a $1.50 card, so sure, why not reprint it? Next up, Supreme Verdict, one of my favorite artworks of all time, and this was in like the first couple decks I built when I first started playing the game. It is insulting that they didn't use the original artwork. It's a 4-cost board wipe and it can't be countered, the end. Now, here's the thing. My understanding of the lore is that this never happened. This is what would have happened on Ravnica if things had gone slightly different. Something about the maze and the abolishment edict and some with Jace and Law Magic, but this event never actually happened. Which is a shame because I hate almost everyone on Ravnica and they all deserve to get blown back to hell. I'm glad that the events of War of the Spark, I would assume obviously I didn't buy or read the book. Apparently neither did the author or the editor. That basically Nicol showed up and turned the place into Fallujah. So hopefully we won't go back there again. I think we all know that we will. So this is roughly a $12 card though. I mean, this is a really, really, really popular commander card. Next up, Lavalanche. It might only be 35 cents, but come on, that's like the coolest name. I love it. So other than the fact that it's just called a Pyroclastic Flow or something like that, wonderful card. Next up, okay, I didn't know I would take such issue with this, but this is Gifts Ungiven, and if you thought, that looks like it would be in the Jace Signature Spellbook. It was, and they used this artwork. This literally is from Signature Spellbook Jace. I thought, maybe they never said it, but it was at least implied that they would never reprint this with this artwork. It already was a Modern Masters 1 and Champions of Kamigawa card. But reprinting the Jace art outside of the Jace one, come on. And yeah, it's very slightly like a different frame, but it's almost identical. And it's the same like card art. What were they possibly thinking with this? Plus also, it's a 99-cent card. There was no reason for this whatsoever. So moving on, we got Glimpse of the Unthinkable. Kind of actually similar artwork to the original there. This is roughly an $8 card, or at least it was. You can get the regular version coming up here for $6 pre-order. Otherwise, this version of it is $20 because that artwork's pretty dope. But it is a mill card, and mill shouldn't exist in any format. So if you play this, you are a terrible person. Next up, Thrumming Stone. This is a pretty tasty card right here. Cold Snap, $45. This one's $35. And it just gives spells Ripple Force. So you look at the top four, and if you pop something with the same name, you can cast it without paying for it. When would that ever happen in a 60-card deck? Well, if you're running more than 4 of, either cheating or letting wizards cheat for you, aka cards that say you could have as many copies of this as you want in your deck. So yeah, you want those little mill princesses or whatever, that stupid dragon thing. Well, here you go. I mean, this does cost $5, but still. Somebody's playing it. For $45, someone somewhere is playing this in something. Next up, we got Dramoka's Command. It's a $1 card. Oh boy. It has 4 modes. You pick 2. This never was the best one. And people played it back in the day. I think it kind of got a little up there in price, but I think Atarka's was way higher. Next up is Zuri Claw of Progress. This was in the Commander 2015 set, so there's an oversized version out there. There's a promotional one too, so I don't know if this necessarily needed to be reprinted, but my opinion is almost anything from a Commander deck should be reprinted multiple times because, I mean, at this point, how long ago was 2015? Come on. And then it was only ever in that, and that's it. It was never in a real set. It was never in a booster. Nobody has it. Nobody buys the deck to rip the front card off of it, although, well, with this one maybe. And it is currently about $10, so yeah. And honestly, that ability is pretty insane. Next up, we got the absolute pinnacle of Wizards not giving a crap and not knowing what they're doing. It's Hostage Taker, the card that should have been banned both before it came out, after it came out, during when it came out, and take a time machine and go prevent them from making it. That's how bad this card was. It was an infinite combo with itself. So this was Ixalan. They had to make an Oracle update like the day it came out or the day before or whatever to tell people, oh, actually, we miswrote it. Oops. Although that's not how they phrased it. Just clarifying, it can't target itself. Otherwise, you got an infinite combo. You just cast one, cast another, clone it, whatever. Boom. Infinite combo. You get an ETB effect to win the game. Pretty damn stupid. And then now that it's out of standard, $1. This card was a disaster, and they need to move on from it, and they need to stop printing it. Next up, we've got Karavek, Pierogi Enthusiast. I went and bought some the other day. Man, those things are good. I swear, I'm like the most Gopnik, German, Russian, possibly Polish, almost definitely Irish, American, whatever the hell else I am person you'll ever meet. So this was in Time Spiral. Well, that doesn't mean it's expensive. It's not. It was also an arch enemy, if you remember that. Kind of neat set, by the way. This is about $1.50, $1.29, something in that neighborhood. And his effect is insane, but he costs $7. Next up, we got Glen Alendra Liege. It's probably Alendra, but whatever. You know what the Lieges do at this point, double boosty boy, but because it's black and blue, apparently that makes it a $3 card. Kind of weird how that works. Next up, Magister's Sphinx, and because that's a 7 cost, you know, otherwise it's pretty good. It's flapping in about between $1 and $3.50, depending upon what version you want. Hasn't been printed in forever, though, so I'll take it. Next up, the Mimeoplasm. I love this card because it's just so stupid. I don't know why people don't appreciate it. It's like $3, but come on. This was a Commander front card. Come on, guys. This was printed quite a bit, and then they had the Secret Lair version, which is sitting at $8. But this one I gotta read. It's too cool. As the Mimeoplasm enters the battlefield, you may exile 2 creature cards from graveyards, so any of them. If you do, it enters the battlefield as a copy of one of those creatures with a number of additional 1/1 counters on it equal to the power of the other card. Oh, multiplayer commander. He is a spicy boy, but 5 is up there a little bit. I think people ran into, well, what would the rest of my deck be? Just ramp to get him out and removal? Which, yeah, I mean, that'd be kind of dickish, but sure, like that would be the strategy most likely. Usually your commander has something to do with the deck it's in. This is just, oh, look, my commander, and then he comes out and just stomps people in the nuts. And I guess people aren't really into that. It is a little basic. It is a little boring. But it's such an interesting card, though. I like that card. Come on. Next up, it's Seasoned Pyromancer, another mythic. Modern Horizons this was in, $35, and that's it. So they made this card up. It's pretty OP. And now the Double Masters one is pre-ordering at $25. So the thing about this card is that he goes into battle every time with some Lowry's Seasoned Salt, and that's why he keeps winning. And they're thinking about not necessarily banning the card, they're going to ban the Lowry's. which I think doesn't go far enough. Next up, it's Una's Prowler, the creepiest looking fairy you've ever seen. And this offender registry member is $1.50. It was only ever printed in Lorwyn though, so I mean, okay. I mean, the more the merrier before the price gets out of control, sure. So next up, Abzan Ascendancy. Any card that ends in Ascendancy, I automatically hate it right off the bat. They're all awful, but this one is 35 cents, which really indicates its power level. But seriously, they even put an Ascendancy in Capenna, and it's awful. So next up, Cedrus, the Trader King, a whopping $4 card. Oh boy, Shards of Alara and not much else. And I mean, kind of a waste of a mythic slot. He's just not that good, but whatever. Next up, we got Shattergang Brothers. Oh boy, another, let's see, 79 cent. Oh no, that's the oversized. Oh, pardon me. It's 79 cents to pre-order it. Otherwise, the Commander 2013 version, which is the only time it was ever printed, is $1.79. This is the old eye for an eye card. It's kind of neat. I don't know what deck you would possibly build around this. This card's awful, but it's interesting. I'd rather just run Trading Post. Next up, oh goody, it's 1,000 Year Storm. I hate this card. I hate Storm. The Storm Scale is called the Storm Scale for a damn good reason. This is still a $10 card, upwards of 15 actually. This is awful. People who play this are awful. People who design this are awful, and I'm sick of looking at it. So next up, we got Prized Amalgam. Shadow Zone Innistrad, kind of popular card. For some reason, it was in Time Spiral Remastered, and then, yeah, really didn't help the price because it's, you know, $1.50, but hey. So next up, it's Oracle of Maldaya, which is a pretty expensive card. I mean, any kind of elf you're looking at power because they have some kind of unhealthy elf obsession over at WotC. But roughly a $20 card, 15 now that it's been reprinted, it looks like. And you can double drop lands while also playing lands off the top of your library. So, yep. Next up, Absolute Power card, Rishkar Pima Renegade. Ooh, this one. It's only 35 to 39 cents, but any creature with a counter can tap for mana, and this drops it on 2 of them. This is a good card. There are better ways to do this for cheaper, though, in Commander, unfortunately. Next up, it's your boy, Macias, the Lunarch. Only a $1.50 card. This was in Jumpstart and Original Innistrad, a bunch of other stuff from the Vault. Even that version's $5. Ouch. I mean, he's pretty cool. I mean, he's 1+X, and X is just the number of counters you put on him. And then you can tap and put a 1/1 counter on him, and then tap and remove a counter and put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. How is this not a $10 card? I guess it's maybe a little slow, but like, not really. Not on turn 2, it's not. I guess you'd have to have a way to drop counters on him after that, but still. Next up, Arjun, or something like that, the Shifting Flame. Ooh, neat. This is in Commander 2015, and that is it. And I don't think it was actually the front card. I could be wrong. But, yeah, only, you know, $2 and some change, a little bit lower now, but it's still kind of a neat card. Still for 6, though, like, you're really going to make this your Commander? And let's be honest, this is just Commander Horizons 5 or whatever. There's a reason this is Double Masters and not Modern Masters. Oh, and that reason is they want to make as much money as possible. They wanted to cram more in it to justify a higher price, and nobody plays Modern anymore. Next up, oh yes, people told me this wasn't a power card. It's too slow. Nobody's gonna play it. It's never gonna take off. Not only did I build a deck in Standard out of this when Amonkhet was hot and absolutely crushed everyone with it, but it's sitting at about a $10 card. So I guess we found out who was right about that. This is like almost free casting done right, because if you want to free cast a 7 cost, it's going to be turn 3 pretty much minimum, and then 7 turns from that. So 10 turns later, you can cast something for free. I mean, come on. It is once per turn, though, so you can do it off turn, which means free counter spells. I kind of took issue with that, but this is just such a dumb fun card. I'm glad they reprinted it. It's just silliness incarnate. Next up, Pillar of the Paruns. It's a come in untapped universal land, so any color generator, $9.50 currently from Dissension. That's the only time it was ever printed, which is why I have never heard of this card. And you can spend the mana only to cast a multicolored spell, though. I guess I could see why this isn't like, you know, a $100 card, but it's useful. I think putting this on people's radar, it ain't gonna drop too much. Next up, Rune, stupid name, of the Hidden Realm. And it's a 79-cent card. Oh boy, what more is there to say? He was one of the front cards in Commander 2013, by the way. Next, we've got Necrotic Ooze. Sadly, even though it was only in Scars Mirrored in Secret Lair, it's still about a $1 to $2 card, maybe $2.50. It's kind of neat, though, what it does, but I don't think it merits the cost. And finally, it's the one you've been waiting for, Creekwood Liege. Yep, Modern Masters 2, this is a lot of money, kind of. Eventide, that's still about 10 bucks. None of these Legions are as good as I remember, but, you know, hey. They are kind of pricey and they're hybrid, it throws off color identity, but still, I mean, this is a good card. A good, currently as of the pre-order, $5 card, but hey. So that was the spoilers for today. I think we're about halfway through the set, but there's not many rares or mythics to go, so I'm not sure how many more spoiler videos there will be, but you guys should show up for the rest because there's more interesting money cards coming, I'm sure. We really calmed down with the ones today, but you never know what they're holding off to the last day. Or really near the last day. The last day is usually kind of just a common dump crap fest. But hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.